we heard Todd Monken talk. Just your takeaways from that.
Yeah, he's honest, certainly. He touched on the coaching staff that's almost done, was really complimentary of the new defensive coordinator, Mike Rutenberg. Then he talked about the quarterbacks, and he was complimentary of Shedeur Sanders, said, hey, you've seen it once in Deshaun Watson, so as a coach, you think you're going to be able to get it out of him again, which, makes sense, right? But he also left the door open, and maybe even more than left it open, for the possibility of bringing in somebody from the outside. I don't think this quarterback room is done yet.
Yeah, that's fair, and we talked about that. And he even talked about potentially drafting one as well.
Yeah, he brought up Ty Simpson, or he was asked about Ty Simpson. Said a lot of good things. Knew him when he was coming out in college. And that's another thing he talked about, is his recent experience in college with Georgia as a coordinator, won a couple national championships, and was really complimentary to Ty Simpson. And he's going to be a guy that could be there at 24, right? He could be in the mix, or if the Browns move up, whatever. He's a guy you have to keep an eye on as we think about quarterbacks in this offseason. When
you think about the offensive line, he basically said it starts there. That's where we have to start rebuilding.
Well, yeah, that's obvious, right? They're going to need guys. Now, he talked about hoping Joel Bitonio comes back at left guard, and he tried to talk him out of retirement. Joel hasn't made that decision yet. And who knows what Joel's going to do. He's got a couple weeks to decide. That could be huge, right? You have that continuity piece, the stability piece. Plus, he's a really good player, right? And Todd knows him from 2019. And then you can add around or build around that. And maybe you have to get 5 new guys. But offensive line is going to look a lot different. It's going to be, Andrew Berry said it yesterday, right? It's going to be a combination of draft picks, free agents, and maybe even trades, right? There's going to be a lot of work done on that offensive line because it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it will be interesting. He mentioned a couple of times relationships. And when I heard him mention the importance of relationships, my mind wandered to Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Because both he and offensive line coach George Warhop have coached him.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to construct the perfect new line, right, the extreme makeover of this offensive line, to me it starts with keeping Bitonio, but then it goes quickly to Tyler Linderbaum.
Right.
If the Browns can get him to be their center, and they're going to have to pay a bunch.
Right.
Yesterday the Ravens GM, Eric DeCosta, said they already made him a market-setting offer, right? So it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be $20 million at least to get Tyler Linderbaum. But you have the guy in the middle, the anchor that knows Todd Monken, knows his system. And you have him and hopefully Bitonio. That's a great place to start. And then you can fill in guys around him, whether it's Zach Zinter or DeJuan Jones or a couple of new tackles.
So here's kind of where my mind went. The free agents that we've heard, Rasheed Walker, the guy from Green Bay, he's fine. He's not. I wouldn't classify him as top 5 left.
No,
I would classify Tyler Linderbaum as a top 5 center. I would pay more for a top 5 center than middle of the road tackle. Am I thinking about that incorrectly?
Oh, I don't think you are. I think you're right on. And there's not a lot of free agents that come on the market that are top of their position guys, right? Like you're referencing. And you always have to overpay in free agency, but I think you want to overpay for the top echelon. You don't want to overpay for those middle-of-the-road guys. So I'm with you. I think Linderbaum makes a ton of sense. And then when you talk about tackle, can you trade for one? Can you draft 1 or 2 early? Right? I don't think that's crazy. You have DeJuan Jones in the mix. I'm with you. If you're going to spend money on the line in free agency, for me it would be center, and then I just don't think there's good enough tackles to do it.
Well, and you're going to likely draft a tackle, either at 6 or 24. The other thing was he was asked about playing multiple rookies on the offensive line, and it's like that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, he didn't want to go get carried away with it, right? He said multiple. We're talking 2. So I think he appreciates or recognizes you need some veterans across that line. And he doesn't want to go crazy young, right? And you're bringing a new offense, so it's hard to go really young. But could you have 2 new linemen? You certainly could, 2 rookie starting linemen. Certainly. I don't know if you want both tackles to be rookies.
That's fair.
Right? He talked about having to help the rookie tackles. But could you get a guard and a tackle? I think that's certainly in play.